It is Tuesday, which of course means it's time for me to answer the questions that you guys send in each and every week on the BrendenPlayz forums at BrendenPlayz.com/forums or in the YouTube comment section down below. 2 weeks away from Wrestlemania, and I will not be answering your Wrestlemania questions this week. Next Tuesday, I'm going to do an all Wrestlemania only Let's Talk Tuesdays. It probably will be longer, maybe half an hour, and we'll dive straight into WrestleMania, and I'll answer your predictions, what I think is going to happen after WrestleMania. I'll give all my winners, everything to do with WrestleMania. I will talk about it in the next week. So I'll touch on a little bit of WrestleMania today, but I'll also mainly just focus on the other wrestling news and what happened on Raw as well. So without further ado, let's get into today's question. And by the way, some brand new graphics I got for Let's Talk Tuesdays. Let me know what you think about it. It was from Kype HD, the man who sent me in my beautiful logos from last time. He's come back, hit me up with some more cool graphics. So a link to his Twitter will be in the description down below. Go and check him out. So if you need some graphics done, cheap, affordable, go and do that. So let's get into today's first question. This one is from Nabakos7. What's your opinion on Sting always getting the better of Triple H and their feud until now? Does that make Triple H look weak? Well, you think about it though, Sting's only appeared, what, 3 times, 4 times on TV. So every time that Sting's had to appear, you pretty much had to make him look pretty good to build Sting up. Whereas you have Triple H on Raw every single week, coming out, cutting promos, doing whatever, doing what Triple H does. I personally think Triple H needs to pedigree Sting. He needs to get the one-up on Sting. I don't think Sting will be on Raw next week. I think he needs to be on Raw. I think I would like to see him on Raw. Hopefully he does. If he is on Raw, Triple H needs to pedigree Sting. Triple H needs to get the one-up on Sting. Maybe he hits him with a sledgehammer. I don't know. I think a no-holds-barred match would be cool. You know, the bat versus the sledgehammer. I think that'd be cool, but I don't know if they're going in that direction or not. But definitely, Triple H needs to get some offense in on Sting of some kind. Sting hasn't exactly made him look like a bitch or anything, but Sting has certainly got the upper hand on every single occasion. And I personally haven't had a problem with it so far, but I would like to see Sting get taken out one time or so to make him look a little bit vulnerable and just to set the match up a little bit better. The next question is from the GMP. Do you agree with Daniel Bryan being added to the Intercontinental Championship ladder match? And what is your pick to win? I'll give my predictions more so on the ladder match in the next episode, but Bryan being added to the IC Championship match, I'm a little frustrated with it. I'm not a big Daniel Bryan fan. I've said this many times. I do think he's okay. I'm not exactly his biggest fan, and I'm more rooting towards Ziggler and Ambrose in this match more so than Daniel Bryan. I don't think Daniel Bryan's going to win. I don't think Daniel Bryan really is going to have a huge impact in this match. I think he's just simply there to fill the numbers and to give Bryan something to do, because without this match, what else do you have him do? Do you have him face Sheamus? Well, where's Sheamus? He's not here. The rumored Ziggler and Bryan match obviously isn't going to happen. They might, have some kind of, altercation in the IC title match, but there's just nothing else for Bryan to do. Really, the only other option would be maybe to face Seth Rollins, but obviously he's, he's got too busy dealing with Randy Orton right now. So there's nothing for Bryan to do. So it's either be in this IC title match or be in the Andre the Giant Battle Memorial Royal, whatever the hell. So really, do we really want him to be in the Battle Royal, or do we want him to be in the IC title match? Personally, I think the IC title match is the better option. It's either that or you leave him off the card. Now, if you leave Daniel Bryan off the card, fans are going to be pissed. And it's not like the IC title match isn't going to be, one of the better matches of the show. It's going to be probably the best match, or if not one of the best of the show. I think it will open up WrestleMania. I think it's going to be a really great start to WrestleMania. Just kick it off strong, and I think the crowd is going to be into it. Daniel Bryan has lost a lot of steam. They've really started to portray him quite negatively, and the WWE are really trying to not bury Daniel Bryan, but certainly cool him off a lot and keep the attention off him. Even calling him a turd or whatever on SmackDown, and, whatever. I don't know if you guys heard, they had him do some really ridiculous thing after SmackDown, cut a promo saying, I'm not a turd, I'm not a turd. Doing all these stupid things with him. They're really starting to downplay Bryan a lot. They're trying to cool him off, keep the attention off him. So hopefully, they're hoping that the crowd will not be cheering Daniel Bryan during the main event. They're hoping the crowd will kind of leave him alone. I did notice a few Daniel Bryan chants when Roman Reigns was out there. but it wasn't very strong. You know, the yes chant, it certainly cooled off again. So they're trying to really downplay Daniel Bryan, and it's working. It is working. But look, he's in the IC title match. It's going to be a great spot fest match. It's going to be crazy, I think. And I think that's a good match to be a part of. And I know it's not exactly, you know, main eventing WrestleMania again, but to be honest, it's that or you're off the show. So there's nothing else for him to do. Do we really want him to be thrown together in a 2-3 week rivalry that means nothing in a match that nobody cares about? No. So he has just been added into this one, just to be that 6th, 7th man, but whatever. It's better than nothing, right? This one's from Innovator YT. How do you feel about low-key and talent from other promotions doing motion capping for WWE 2K16? I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? Does it really matter? I mean, you think about it, real WWE superstars, they're not going to have the time to really put together a authentic, efficient motion capping. They're not going to have the time. They get 2 days off a week. When are they ever going to have the time to do it? They need to use outside guys. And, you know, a guy like Low Key, he can pretty much do any move that you ask him to do. So he's probably one of the perfect guys. I know Cesaro, he did a lot of it last year. I know Damien Sandow's done a lot of it in the past as well. You know, they bring in a couple of guys, you know, from wherever to do it. You know, I think Damien Sandow did it, you know, when he was off contract. I remember hearing that on Talk Is Jericho. So, you know, they bring in guys from wherever to do it. It doesn't really matter who does it, as long as it's done right. And, you know, for the most part, they do get it done pretty damn well. So, you know, I'm happy. I don't mind. I've got no problem with it. You know, they don't really need to be a WWE superstar. You know, what difference does it make? They're not exactly having themselves on the game or anything like that. They're just acting out the moves from the actual WWE wrestlers. This one's from Jeff Hardy Rules. Do you think NXT is better than the WWE right now? Why doesn't WWE take wrestlers from NXT? Well, they do take wrestlers from NXT all the time. But the thing is, in NXT, it's a much simpler style, much simpler booking. The storylines are much simpler, and it really just focuses more on the wrestling. It's not this goofy, over-the-top kind of crap. You know, you don't have all this Hollywood shit coming in involved. It's just pure wrestling. It's designed to be marketed towards the internet fans. And the WWE, on the main roster, it's marketed at kids. It's marketed at families. It's to be a family show. It's not marketed at adult males. You know, those... Not marketed to those 16 to 25 demographic like NXT is. It's a different target market. They're trying to achieve two different things. That's why it's different. You know, if you bring Kevin Owens up from NXT to Raw, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to change anything. Kevin Owens will probably get, you know, some really stupid... You know, he might be dancing around, you know, like Brodus Clay was. You never know. It's just the simple fact is that's two completely different styles. One is marketed towards the people like us who enjoy it, you know, who want this, you know, more wrestling, more serious side to it, whereas the other is marketed towards families, children, you know, whatever. Next question is from Bashka. Randy Orton and Sting teamed up on Raw. Do you think they would have had an epic rivalry? Definitely, when they would have had the Legend Killer gimmick back in maybe 2006, 2007, maybe 2005 as well, I think they would have had a classic rivalry. I think Sting and Randy Orton would have been awesome. Sting getting beaten by Orton, you know, getting killed by the Legend Killer would have been great. And, you know, it would have been a really good legend for Randy to finish off. And that would have been... I think it would have been epic. I think Sting would have had a lot of great rivalries. I mean, with The Undertaker, of course, you know, even Shawn Michaels, Triple H, you know, I think you go back 10 years or so, Triple H and Sting would have been great. Jericho, geez, you know, there's been Cena, you know, I think he would have had a lot of great rivalries with a lot of wrestlers in the past 10 or so years. It's just a shame that he stayed in TNA for so long. I mean, ugh. Why? Thank God he at least come back for at least a match or two now. This one's from Bailey14. What is your opinion on Sting staying T-shirt Sting? I think he looks in good shape. I don't know if he's going to wrestle in a T-shirt or not. I honestly think he won't. I think he won't exactly have his shirt off, but he won't have a T-shirt on. You know, I can't think of the name of it. You guys know what I'm talking about. What he wears in the 2K15 video game as 99 Sting. That attire from back then, I think he'll use that from again. I just can't see him the WWE letting him wear a T-shirt? I don't think he needs to. I mean, he looks pretty solid. I think, certainly got some muscle to him. He looks in shape. I think the only thing Sting really has to worry about is that hairline. But look, I think he's working on that a bit too. So I think Sting looks fine to me. I think Sting is in shape. And I don't think we have to worry about it. I think he's not... He certainly looked as though he's been trying to prepare for this for a long time. He's going to take this seriously. It's not just a regular TNA match in front of 200 people. This is WrestleMania in front of 60, 70,000 people. Sting's going to make sure he turns up, and he's going to make sure he turns up in shape and ready for the performance of his life. This one's from Grandpa Monda. Your opinion on Los Matadors and the New Day being added into the tag team match at Mania? Well, it's not confirmed yet, but... How do you think Jey Uso's injury will affect their WrestleMania match? Well, at the moment, it seems as though Jey Uso may be out for WrestleMania. I don't know. So if he's out, obviously the Usos are not going to be at WrestleMania. Which will mean it will be Los Matadors and the New Day versus the team of Cesaro and Tyson Kidd for the tag titles. And if that's the case, I hope that's going to be on the pre-show, because that is going to be awful. Dreadful. I think the tag match will be on the pre-show regardless. And, the pre-show is 2 hours, by the way. Jesus Christ, it's a long pre-show. I don't know how they can really drag that one out. But, look, I just think it's a useless, pointless match. I mean, they have a 20-minute match in the pre-show. They kill it. Maybe it could be good. I mean, obviously you got Cesaro and Kidd in there. It would have been great. They might put the Ascension in there. I mean, they have the primetime players as well. I mean, by the way, the Ascension dropping. They're done, by the way. So I don't even know if they'll be in there. I really don't know. If it's just a triple threat match, well, then that's pretty shitty. So I probably will avoid watching that match. Maybe I will. I mean, it's WrestleMania. Check it all out. But I don't know. That's just something I really don't care about any of the tag team matches at all. Any possibilities for the tag match, I don't care. Next one's from Bad News Bullet. What's your thoughts on Ring of Honor trying to stop WWE from picking up their talent? Well, it's fair call. I mean, Ring of Honor, they've got to try and protect their company. Ring of Honor, they need all the talent they can get, because the indies are certainly struggling for talent. I mean, the WWE is starting to really wipe it dry. And now the WWE is starting to go on the road with NXT. I've heard a lot of rumors, it could be similar to how the WWE took out the territories back in the day. The WWE might be trying to take out the indies with NXT, trying to book, indie, smaller arenas and, keeping NXT on the road, probably going head-to-head with other independent shows, trying to take them out. I would not be surprised. And NXT is certainly going to be the better show, I think. So Ring of Honor trying to protect their company is perfectly fine. I mean, they try to portray themselves as the company that kind of, the first look at the stars of tomorrow. That's kind of Ring of Honor's, catchphrase, tagline, whatever you want to call. So at the moment, I think Ring of Honor, they're completely within their right to try and protect their company, to protect their wrestlers. But let's be real, you can try and sign them up for good, but if they get an offer from the WWE, 9 times out of 10 they're going to take it and run. They just can't compete with the big boys. It's as simple as that. And nobody really can. TNA can't. People try and avoid TNA. A lot of the indie guys try and avoid TNA so they don't have that bad name. Because a lot of guys who go to TNA will never get looked at by the WWE, so they try and avoid it. So I think guys staying in Ring of Honor is probably the best bet. And once they get noticed from the WWE, they're obviously going to sign over there and move up to the big leagues, like I said. This next one is from Bashka. It is rumored that Sheamus will be in either the ladder match or the Battle Royal. Which one do you think he will be in? I think he'll be a surprise entrant in the Battle Royal. They can't exactly make Sheamus a surprise entrant in the ladder match, but it will certainly work in the Battle Royal. And if he's in the Battle Royal, he's winning it. Plain and simple. But it's always possible that they'll leave Sheamus off TV until the night after WrestleMania and return him then. What he'll do there, I don't know. I mean, if they want to have him return as a heel, I think they nearly have to make him wait until the night after WrestleMania, because if he comes back, he's going to get a babyface reaction probably. I don't know. I mean, personally, I would boo because I don't really like Sheamus whatsoever. So he's going to get a decent reaction, and it's not going to be it's hard to have him return and be straight up a heel. So especially at WrestleMania. So if he returns, he's going to have to probably return as a heel the night after WrestleMania. But if they're just going to keep him the same old Sheamus, the same old shit, yeah, see him in the, expect to see him in the Battle Royal, and he'll probably throw, Big Show or Kane or somebody over the top rope to win it. So, by the way, having Mark Henry and Kane out of all the guys in the Battle Royal get the most, TV time out of that little segment on Raw, that's ridiculous. This is a problem with the WWE. They're really just pushing these old-time guys just over and over and over. And why not give somebody else, one of these younger guys, a bit of a chance? But they just keep on pushing Big Show, Kane. Personally, I don't mind them pushing Mark Henry, but I'm not exactly sick of him yet. But Big Show and Kane, oh my god. This one's from Larry Williams. How do you feel about the 5-star wrestling game coming out? Looking forward to it. It's been a long time waiting. I've been wanting it for over a year or so now. I think it's going to be pretty good. I think it comes out this week. So I'm going to get it, and I will see what I can do with it. I'll see what kind of game modes are on it, see what I can play. And if there's something that interests me, I will do videos on it, and I'll showcase the game to you. And maybe I'll do it anyways. If I buy the game, I'll play some matches on it, and I'll show some of the gameplay for you guys to see, and you guys can see whether or not you like it. So hopefully there's some kind of career mode or a story or some kind of mode that I can play for a long time to get some life out of the game. That'd be cool. And I know this is not the real wrestlers or anything like that. It's a bit of a parody game. But I'm still looking forward to it. It looks fun, and from what I've seen in the previews, it looks pretty good. Final question today comes from Chris Lupo. Could you see yourself doing YouTube as a job? Definitely not. I have no aspirations to do this full time. That's why a lot of guys, they come at me saying, why don't you upload more? Where's your videos? Why don't you upload 2 or 3 times a day? I wish you would upload more. Well, the thing is, this is not my job. It's not my career. I do this as a hobby. This is something I find fun. I certainly put a lot of time and invest a lot of time in it. And yes, I make some money off it. I'm not going to deny that. But it's certainly not my full-time job, and I have no plans on it. It's definitely going to be a big part of my life, though, for the next few years. I'm still in college, so I still want to do what I'm doing at college as my full-time job, but I certainly want to continue growing my YouTube channel, but it's definitely not in the plans to become my full-time thing. Alright guys, that will do it for today's edition of Let's Talk Tuesday. Next week will be the big WrestleMania show, so do not miss it. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you do not miss more Let's Talk Tuesday videos coming up in the future. Leave a like if you enjoyed today's video as well. And of course, if you want to send in a question, you need to do it by sending in a question in the comment section down below or at the forums. BrendenPlayz.com/forums. The link to the official thread will be in the description down below. Today's game was Battlefield Hardline, by the way, which I'm enjoying. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you all next Tuesday.